Hi, it's Nell, and the intro to this video mysteriously disappeared over the months, but you will be seeing me very soon. So this is all about transplanting my Dracaena Marginata along with its cuttings. Now the cuttings were taken over the summer of 2016, and this video that you'll see coming up was filmed in late January of 2017, which is not the best time to transplant, but Lucy was here to film me, and this would have been hard for me to film myself doing this, so make hay while the sun shines. Oh, and by the way, that long trailing plant next to the Dracaena Marginata that is hitting the floor actually is my Gray Fishhook's Senecio. It's just beautiful. But it's now the 2nd of October, and as you can see, this Dracaena Marginata variegata is doing great. The grow pot was a little bit too big, but I didn't know that till I got the plant out of the pot. But it's doing fine. It gives it plenty of room to grow in. As usual, there is a blog post to go along with this video, which will have more details in it. And I will also leave the links down below to the post that I did about how I pruned this Dracaena Marginata last summer and how I rooted the cuttings. Glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. That's important. All right, so I'm going to move these out of the way because I've already broken one glass that had one of the cuttings in it. And what I'm going to start by doing is I'm going to loosen this away from the pot. And this is Dracaena Marginata that I inherited with this house. It's directly planted in this big old pot, and I want to put it into a lighter grow pot so that I can move it into the house, because I think that's where it's going to eventually go. It's January now. We had a couple of cold snaps, so I just put a box over it, and it's doing great. But I want to get it out of here because this pot, I think I am going to put my pencil cactus in. Now, if you're planting a Dracaena Marginata, you might not need to use a shovel. I have one because I do a lot of gardening, and this is directly in the pot, so it's going to help me get down further down in the pot to loosen it, because the goal in doing any kind of transplanting or repotting is to get as many of the roots as you can. So I'm going around the pot, just getting as far down as I can, and then I just sort of leverage it here, and you can see it's starting to move a little bit. And that's what I want. I don't want to do any sudden digs to this plant. Seeing it's been growing outside all winter long. And I cut this one back quite a bit. I took a lot off of it. I will leave that blog post down below, the link down below, so you can see that. There's also a video in that blog post in case you want to see what I did to this plant, and that's where the cuttings came from too. From the cutting back of this plant. Ugh. And you might say, Nell, what are you doing transplanting a plant in January? Well, you know what? I say the best time to transplant a plant is when it needs it. And this one does need it. I want to get it out of this pot. Ideally, if you were to pick an ideal time to transplant a plant, it might be in spring. It's a little easier for them. They're growing again. The weather is warmer, but as long as you're careful, you can transplant plants year long. All right, I got my sleeves rolled up for the job. Come on, baby. We're going into a new home. Oops, there's a little bit caught down here. I'm going to try to loosen it with my hands. That's something you can do. I feel the root right here. Okay, now I went in with my trowel and kind of dug down a little bit more because there was one big stubborn root that just wouldn't come out, but now I can just easily lift it out like that. So now I can see what size the root ball is, because I have my pot here, and I put coffee filters over these big old holes because potting soil, I am using a very good organic potting soil, which is great for plants in containers, both indoors and out, but it's loose and I don't want it to all just run right out of these big old holes. Okay, so about up to here is about the height of the root ball. So I need to put quite a bit more soil, more potting soil in here. Oops. Had the pot in there. Let's see. And I'm just using straight potting soil in here, nothing else. I'll put a little bit of worm compost in here, a little bit of worm castings, and then in the spring when it's warming up and really actively growing, I will top dress it with some more. I'm taking a couple handfuls of the soil out, and I put down this piece of plastic, but you know, hey, soil seems to be flying everywhere. And quite a bit of the soil has fallen off of here from this pot, but that's okay. And you can see that nice big old root down there. The root's looking nice and healthy. There we go. You see, it's going to fit in there. It's going to give it plenty of room to grow down. And I don't mind if it sinks down just a little bit because the roots have been a little bit exposed in this pot. So you don't want it to go down too far, but a little bit, a little half inch or inch of a soil topping is just fine. I'm gonna go ahead and get some more of the soil in here. And again, this is organic. What does this have in it? Let's see. It has a lot of good stuff in it. Happy Frog. Where are the ingredients? Well, it's got a lot of good stuff. It has all the, it's got aged forest products, sphagnum peat moss, perlite, earthworm castings, more of that, bat guano, humic acid, oyster shell, and dolomite lime. And then it's got all sorts of good things that come alive in this soil too. So you want to use a really good potting soil if you can, because I don't plan on transplanting this plant for a while. So I want the soil to be really good. Now I have about 2 or 3 inches of soil to put on top of the plant, but this is where I'm going to go in and sprinkle in the worm castings. And that's how I fertilize houseplants. Just a little bit, as I said. I'm just going to do a little bit now, maybe a 1/4 of an inch layer, because it's not the active growing time now, and that just gives it a little bit of an oomph. So now it's time to add in the couple of cuttings. I'm going to do this one. You can see how beautiful the roots are. And then I'm going to do this kind of a crazy one here. And those 2 are for my friend that I'm going to pot up separately. So where do I want to put this? Let's see. I think I want to put that about right there. I'm just going to get it down in there, and I might need to stake this. I'm not quite sure. And that just gives something at the base there, because there's something there. And this I either want to go here or over here. All right, I had to go get some more. I had to go get a fresh bag of the potting soil because that was the tail end of that one. Oh, this new soil smells so good. Okay, so this gives a little bit of interest coming out right there. And then I have this one I have to right up. It's a little breezy today, so The marginatas are flying around, these cuttings. There we go. Nice, fresh, good soil. And this one, as I said, I might need to stake up, I'll see. But you know what I use when I stake up smaller houseplant cuttings? I use chopsticks. It works just fine. They work just fine. Alrighty, I have this chopsticked up, so it's standing up a little bit better. It makes a nice presentation in the front here. This, who knows how this is going to start to grow. I'm hoping it's going to do this and then go back over that way. And then these just have to grow and do their thing too. Okay, so I just want to make sure that this stands up like this while it is rooting in. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to simply tie it together right here, just to help them stand up. And this is just jute twine. I was pruning and training my big bougainvillea, and I just happened to have this by the door. So that's going to help that to stand up. I might need to put a stake in, but this is going to be easy because I can tie that, and then that just gives that a good start in life, because once I water it, this potting soil is pretty loose, so it's going to shift. One more time, I'm going to show you the Dracaena Marginata variegata, how it is doing now. And the links to all those posts that have videos in them that pertain to Dracaena Marginatas will be down below. I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes and your comments. I really appreciate them. Now, let's get out into our gardens, our outdoor gardens or our indoor gardens, and make our worlds a more beautiful place. I have a lot more videos coming your way, so stay tuned for those. And as always, I thank you so much for watching. Bye.